This podcast is brought to you by the Startup Core Podcast and by the Foundation for World Harmony.
Come with me to discover the transformative power of kindness and the joy it brings. Join me as we explore every Monday morning simple yet profound ways to elevate your happiness, one gesture at a time.
Wow, fantastic baby, dance. I'm gonna dance. Fantastic baby.
Fantastic day to one and all. Welcome to another episode of The Complete Guide to Happiness. Did you have a happy week? Are you happy right now? Well, if you're not, by the end of the show you will be, because we have a very special guest, one of our first ambassadors of kindness. I'm not first. 223. That's pretty first, because we have 11,389, something like that today. It's going to be a fantastic show. This young man, everyone who's younger than me is a young man, has done a lot of great things in his life, and we're going to talk about his new book coming out, the book that we're going to work together on, and all kind of fun things. But as you know, the first thing I'd like to do is read one of my daily quotes that I send out to our ambassadors of kindness, and that's from Beyonce, gorgeous Beyonce. What a great looking woman, and I hope she's as beautiful inside as she is outside, and I hope she's happy, because just because you're famous or rich doesn't mean you're going to be happy, and a lot of people aren't. So she said, your self-worth is determined by you. You don't have to depend on someone telling you who you are. And, you know, as a philosopher, motivational speaker, life coach, I always say no one's opinion matters but yours. You know, you got to believe in yourself. You got to love yourself, no matter what other people say. I mean, need I say more? And I wrote, you are the most important person on the planet, period. You come first. Your happiness comes first, because if you're not happy, how the hell are you going to make anyone else happy? Because if you're not happy, alive or well, you're no service to yourself, your family, your community, your friends, your business, or God. Because there's a lot of people that believe in God. And I do want to say, speaking of God, his right-hand man, the Pope, unfortunately passed away last week. My condolences go out to all the millions of people that are sad. And I want to talk about death real quick. It's not a happy subject, but I've experienced a lot of death in my life. I had 3 sets of parents, natural, step, and foster, and they're all passed away. I had many friends pass away. So I've got a little bit of theory that you might want to agree with. The people that have passed away would want you to go on and be happy, not mourn and be miserable. Remember the past, the fantastic times you had with them, and rejoice in those experiences. And you can mourn a little bit, but don't carry it on. There's a lot of cultures that dance and party at the funeral, which I think is really important. Here in Antigua, Guatemala, Holy Week just ended, and they have 1 million people descended on the city this last week. And they have these processions day and night. One time, 3 in the morning, they came across my front door. I went out and filmed it. You can check it out on Befantastic YouTube channel. And it's the funerals all day long, day and night. And it was 3 in the morning. They have these processions that are funerals, very solemn. No one's hooping and hollering. They're all sad faces, because they're carrying Christ on these big floats. I learned a lot this last Holy Week. It's called Semana Santa here. And so don't mourn death. Rejoice in the experiences, and think of all the fantastic things, because they're in a better place, what a lot of people say. They certainly don't have any more taxes, or more burdens, or worries, or stresses, or even depression. And that's what being happy can do for you. It relieves depression. And saying the word fantastic will make you happy, because it releases endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin, because it makes you smile. And a smile makes you look and feel fantastic. So let's get to the guest, and let's have some fun with Paul Padgett, the guest today. He's done some wonderful things in his life, and we're going to be doing some wonderful things together. So without further ado, let's get to Paul. Let me stop this recording, and see you in a minute. And by the way, stay tuned because we always have a special segment of the show where I cook fast, economical, delicious, and nutritious meals. Did I say it all? I think I said it all. You know, it is what it is. Have fun in life. Don't take it too serious. Well, I'm very pleased to have our guest this week as Paul Padgett, old dear friend, Ambassador 223 of our 11,300 plus ambassadors around the world. And, it's funny because I've been saying his name for a lot because I had a radio show in Los Angeles. And they said, because it was my first radio show, they say, don't say the word P because it pops on mic. And so I love to break rules. So I would always say, I'm possibly and practically the most positive person on the planet. If my name was Paul Padgett, that would even be better.
That's
So, Paul,
classic.
welcome to the show. My first question to all my guests are because this is the complete guide to happiness. And that's what we're on the planet for, to be happy. I know you're spreading a lot of happiness, but how do you define happiness?
First off, by waking up every day and using the word fantastic. So I'm smiling right out of the gate and thanking the powers that be that I got to wake up another day. But as I've always said, I live every single day to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to inspire at least one person to aspire to their best selves and pass on love, peace, happiness. And that pretty much defines it.
Well, I mean, making people happy makes me happy. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. It's I think it's the key to we live in more than ever a very polluted, ugly world, and people are scared. And it's unfortunate that the worst emotion that an individual can have is called uncertainty. And COVID proved that to the T, because the government's created uncertainty and nobody knew where they stood. They locked us up in a cage in our own, they created in our own homes, our own prisons. And so then everybody comes out and all this rhetoric and stuff back and forth on governmental stuff that everybody feels is doing whatever, stance they want to take. That's, their own opinions, and that's fine. But bottom line is that while all of that's going on, I think people like you, John Paul DeJoria, JP, as we know him, we work to spread peace, love, happiness, and have the ability to at least give a portal for individuals to break away from being the hamster on the wheel, running and running and running and feeling like they're getting nowhere. That I think, we're the ambassadors to stick the stick in the wheel and pull them off and let them see that there is another way, that happiness still does exist. And it has to be something self-willed. They've got to want to pursue it and make the decision to do it. It can't be, we can put all these videos and podcasts and all that out there, but until somebody makes a decision that they're done with all the ugly and the things that are attached to us by other people and circumstances, that we wake up ultimately into the world we desire to have. And we have to speak it, we have to live it.
Well, it's funny you brought up COVID because that was the straw for me that broke the camel's back. When the government told me I had to sit in my house, put on a mask, get quarantined, and wash my hands 20 times, I said, hell no. And I set out on a journey. It's been 5 years now, traveling by myself to show the world how great it is and how fantastic it is and how kind it is. And I'm still on that journey. I'm in Antigua, Guatemala, as you know. Last time we saw each other was in Belize. You invited me to the island there. Had a fantastic time there. So basically, we're going to talk. You asked me earlier, what are we going to talk about? What's the show about? It's about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, and all the things that make you happy. Now, I know what made you happy because when we first met, I think you're married to a bad, crazy woman. And I'm sure the day you got divorced was a very happy day.
Man, it's interesting how evolution works because we never get married to get divorced, and those are some of our happier moments that we, at least in that time frame, we have those dreams and desires that we think are aligning with another. And I think the bigger thing in it that I've learned outside of what other people's decisions are as you're growing, because I was married in my 20s and well over 20 years married, is that if a couple doesn't work on the things that where you're at in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, all evolve you into different spaces. And that's why I've always said I think that the biggest thing for any couple is to have counseling. Because you can discover those things and also discovering the differences to support the other in their personal journey. Because we come in as individuals to any relationship, business and or personal, and it gets muddled up because we don't pull back and look at all of the variables that are happening that we're duck bobbing and weaving through every day, and we just let, as I call it, it's the bowling ball in the head. You keep stuffing stuff in the garage, I mean, excuse me, in the closet, and then all of a sudden you open the door and get clacked on the head with it when you could have organized it before you ever put it in there. And that's one of the things I have to say I'm real proud of. I've been on the front end journey when you started this, from being out on your amazing yacht. I watched the video with you and John Paul DeJoria, my friend too, an executive producer of projects that I'm doing, is that he's a true ambassador of peace, happiness, and love. But I remember your yacht out there and several big events you had, and Marina Del Rey is just, a special place in the world. And we could see JP's, Chris Craft sitting out there, and you were his captain, and you introduced me to a lot of amazing people out there. But I remember as you were working into this space and you didn't have the support of your wife, your ex-wife, and everybody, it's funny because I always look at something. Can you imagine how many times Alexander Graham Bell or Edison or Tesla or Ford got called crazy and insane? Because I can only imagine Edison's wife screaming and yelling at him to come to bed, just lick your fingers and put the candle out. We got light. What are you thinking of? What are you doing? And 10,000 bulbs later, we now have Edison Electric. We now have light on us. And so I've always supported the element. I believe that you got to get a little crazy to do crazy things that end up evolving. I could only imagine Alexander Graham Bell, tired of sticking a can to his ear and having yarn to his neighbor to see if they could talk together. And then all of a sudden, this isn't going to work. I'm going to create a phone. And every single thing we do now is because of that one crazy moment. And I watched you, and which I've always supported it because I believe that what you're doing is probably one of the strongest ambassadorships that this world is in dire need of. Dr. Fantastic is a perfect name for you. You're not Monte anymore. You're Dr. Fantastic. And this Be Fantastic movement is legendary. And we all, we kind of went, all my motivational stuff and things I was doing and saving the planet or thinking I was, that you went off to, where was it? In Egypt, Sharm el-Sheikh, or what was that called?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so then all of a sudden, our friend Klaus that did the movie What About Love with Andy Garcia and Sharon Stone had a stroke. And so you went there and you helped him immensely. He might have died over there without you. And then you guys contacting me, and thankfully, we got to the island of Belize. It's been a very interesting journey. You went from camels to bikinis, and then you
All in
were
between.
and you look at how, even I remember one of the things that was amazing on the island is that it didn't matter where you were or what you were doing. You hit the ground like burning the boats behind you and charging the beach with no way back. And I remember you started painting the be kind signs with all these messages, and you're pounding them on every. I mean, it was amazing. You painting all of these and putting them out. They were like direction signs to peace, love, and happiness.
Over
And
300 of them on the
yeah,
island.
and prompting people to get out of that mode, whatever they're in, to escape, to see that sign put so many smiles on people's faces. But then you look at it, just like going back to the statement on crazy, is that all the people that came against you. I remember some of the people that were out there tearing them off the poles, and it's insane.
Yeah.
But it shows and proves that, first off, we're not going to make everybody happy. Second off, some people are just meant to be miserable, want to stay miserable, and they don't want anybody to elevate beyond it. And that was a very solid sign of our times, regardless of being out on an island in the middle of this marble that we're on, floating in space. An amazing, beautiful area. But you evolve that, and then boom, you were off on your next journey. Bam, you go to the mainland, you're in Guatemala. And you've just been tearing it up. It's been beyond amazing watching. And then, we got kind of separated in that space for that moment, and then I'm back, and I've had to shut a lot down because of the cartel and different threats of Central America. We won't go there, but I had to get out of a space that was beyond negative. It doesn't fit into the space of positiveness. It doesn't fit into the message. I don't want to fight for my life every day. What I want to do is share the possibility of a possibility that maybe if you thought a little different, that you used the word fantastic, you smiled at people, that you looked in the mirror and smiled at yourself, and yes, I can do this. This is the best day of my life, the only day that I've got left. You might not. Well, I think about it. I wake up every morning thanking God that I took a breath today, because of how many people I could imagine went to sleep last night that didn't wake back up.
Well,
And the
everything on
chance,
the top side of the grass is fantastic in my book.
it is. And then we started evolving. I've been praying really hard on a lot of different things, and I reached out to you. The message was clear,
Well,
and so I
before I
hit you.
forget,
Yeah,
before we talk about a lot of things we're going to do,
please.
I do
Sorry.
have a little bit of direct. This is never scripted. All my 2,100 videos on
Oh
my
yeah,
Befantastic never scripted. But I want to address crazy because when I left my wife 5 years ago when COVID hit, because I'm a rule breaker. She said you're crazy, and maybe a lot of people think I'm crazy. But I'm going to go with a guy named Steve Jobs, which many of you people listening might have heard of, a pretty famous guy. And he said people who are crazy enough to think that they can make a difference in the world are the ones that do.
that's right.
And I've got 11,300 people, and a lot of them bless me. They say that it's changed their life. Their
Yeah,
kids who are taking the Global Kindness Pledge that are in a
yeah,
lot of schools around the world are
yes,
seeing, or they're seeing, the parents are seeing tangible results from saying, I am fantastic. You are fantastic. We are fantastic. It's really powerful. I'm very proud of that. And getting back to because my memory is shit. It really is. I'm glad you reminded me about the kind signs. I didn't forget about those, but it's a tourist attraction there, and they're everywhere.
mhm,
And we made it.
yes,
And we have what if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you give him a fishing pole, he eats for life. And as you know, there's a guy making money on the island making those signs now, which is fantastic. And I
amazing.
think all the poor people, indigenous tribes can, with just the natural resources, because they paint wall paintings in eons ago. Without paint, they use the natural elements of the earth. So you can make a
Yes,
be kind sign out of trash, which I call
yep,
eco art, and
yep,
sell it and feed your family. So that's our fishing pole for people. But
gold.
so I did want to go back and because I know so many people, and unfortunately, people get mad that I don't call them. Well, I have 11,000 friends in just this
Yeah,
group that aren't even ambassadors. Those are the people that are just
yes.
ambassadors, right? And they get mad I don't call. I said I can't call 11,000 people a day. But and I don't. They always ask me, how did you meet him? So I want you to remind me and the audience watching how we became friends, how we met. I'm curious. I have no idea.
Well, it was interesting because I was with LJT National Geographic. They're headed up as chief of marine operations there in Beverly Hills, and Diana Kelly was my publicist. And you had met her at some gala event. And it's a little blurry to me at that point because we were all in this big blur. And I was working with the
Life's a
wildlife way.
blur.
Yeah, Wildlife Way Station. I don't live a lot in the past. I'm all about the present. As I say, yesterday's a canceled check, tomorrow's a promissory note, and today is the only thing we've got. It's cash. And so, bottom line is that you are having some little gala on your yacht. And we went out there. Diana said, "Go out there. Let me meet. I want you to meet this guy." You were Monte Cook, the third at that point, and until you evolutionized to Dr. Fantastic, and that was it. What's crazy? I've got it on film. I filmed it.
Really?
I
I
have,
do remember filming one of my cooking episodes, I think it was, on your house in Long Beach.
yes, we'll get to that.
And I still hold you to that hamburger because you're a pilot, and I'm a pilot as well. But you
Yes.
promised me a burger in Catalina, which I'm holding you till.
Hey, I love the $100 hamburger run. You don't have to twist my arm too much on that. But no, it was pretty amazing. You had some really influential entities on there. A little fuzzy on some of the names, but I know that if we went back and looked at the film, it'd be bam, bam, bam. I was looking around to see if I still had all that, and I do.
Oh, cool.
And oh yeah, I never delete anything. My archives are strong. But
I love hearing about myself sometimes
sure, of course you
because I don't
need
have a
to
memory for it.
because it's an evolution that is the history of what is now becoming a massive movement in this universe. Because everything is the universe. It's frequency. You know, you clap and I just rippled the universe. It's and so that's why your frequency's attaching. And so anyway, Diana Kelly was the front end there in Marina Del Rey on your big gigantic yacht you had out there, and you were going and blowing, and I met your wife, and I just connected. We connected immediately, and then I think it was we went to JP's Chris Craft because you were his boat captain at that time, and I think you were slinging caviar, and
Yeah.
we were over there eating caviar and sitting around with JP. And so, yeah, that was the front end. It was really an amazing time because there was a lot of work happening to make the planet better, to help animals. I was working with the Wildlife Way Station with LJT and National Geographic, and we had all the big stars that were coming out there, Pamela Anderson and Paris Hilton and Dane Cook. And it was just a wonderful entity after entity that were working with us to save those animals. Over, I believe it was 450 different exotic animals that Martine Collette had been working since 1976 to save these animals. Very selfless individual, and that tied a lot of our entities together also. So it was one hell of a kickstart to be sitting here right now, and you're where you're at, and this huge global run. And you know what I really respect, probably more than anything, is not many people have it in them to do this, is you never looked back. You had such a mission, you have such a mission that I don't know if I can name anybody other than like JP, um, or a Jacques Cousteau, entities like that. A Captain Paul Watson, which I got to work with the Genesis Awards, with Melanie Griffith's mother that has Shambhala. And she was the lead actress in The Birds and worked with Hitchcock, and so we got to work in some amazing arenas in that field. But it's interesting that the 7 degrees of separation. It's amazing how we're all connected, and we are not by any means anything but connected. That's why frequency. That's why you grab the phone and, oh my God, my mom's on the phone. Hey, I was just calling somebody, and boom, I was just getting ready to call
You
you.
think of someone and they call you. It's the most amazing thing. We're all connected. It's just really quite astounding.
It doesn't matter where you are because we're frequency, and frequency is what creates everything and connects everything. That's what I love about nature. That's like the work I've done with great whites and whatnot. Everybody thought it was crazy to go out of the cage and confront my fears in that, because Jaws ruined me in 76 when my stepdad took me to see it. And I grew up in Oklahoma. All I saw was crappy streams and rivers, and I never saw the ocean until I was in my 30s, and I was terrified of it. And I had one major fear, and that was great whites. I went out there, and lo and behold, that's what started the National Geographic stuff. But the bigger thing is that it changed everything, because when that first great white comes, and I've got that film, you'll have to share that sometime, is that I wasn't terrified. It came by, that was a 18 foot, 4,000 pound great white. And it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And it wasn't asking for anything. It wasn't a threat to me. And by the third day, I was out of the cage on the back of that yacht. And we were in Guadalupe. That's a very famous island, by the way. That's the movie King Kong with Fay Ray back in '33. That was the island they brought King Kong down. So 77 inhabitants on that island, but it's the biggest gathering of great whites that are docile. It's
Mhm.
not a feeding frenzy. And that altered everything for me because I got to really see harmony and peace and creatures that they're not asking for anything but love. And that's what you spread. You help keep me centered in it. That's why when I was really reaching out in meditation and then I was wondering what the heck's going on because the last time I saw you was about a year ago when you and Klaus got to the island in Belize, and then you were back on your tour, and so I finally, it just evolved. I don't have to really push it. I just knew, and I reached out, and bam, here we back are, and
Well,
in
everything
bigger
happens as it should when it should. Now, I
always.
remember, I mean, you're a great humanitarian and environmentalist, and you've done a lot of things like for the sharks and what have you. I remember on the island, you were saving the reefs and the fish. What is that fish called? Lionfish?
Yes, well, I
Not
wasn't
saving them,
saving
trying to
them.
kill
We're
them,
removed.
actually.
Yeah, the biggest threat that's not talked about in the world is the proliferation of the lionfish that are annihilating coral
It's
reefs.
interesting because nobody will eat their eggs, so they're growing exponentially, I guess.
Let's have some lionfish caviar, man. And
Exactly.
so just can't, get a handle on it because, we've still only studied 5% of our oceans. We know more about the surface of Mars than we know about our own planet. And it's really tragic. But the bigger things now, because, it went from sharks. Then, as I was traveling the world and seeing all these different, areas, I was chasing the decimation of 120 to 150 million sharks a year by shark fin soup. Is that I saw all the trash and I got to see the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And you've spent time in Hawaii, and it annihilates the island there. And
Can
so
I
I
stop
got,
you for a second? I wanted you to
yeah.
tell me about the Great Patch because I talk about that a lot when the third commitment, of course, of our mission, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to our planet, is being accountable for your actions and not littering. Tell me what you saw with that patch because I've never seen it personally, and it must be something astounding.
Twice the size of Texas,
Twice the
about
size. Wow.
yes. If you've ever driven across Texas,
Yeah.
it's daunting.
And you're in
Go
Texas
there,
now.
go there and turn back. Yeah. So
Right.
the big thing to it is that all of the animals that I saw caught in long lines, because I learned at that point that China and Japan in international waters. That's why Captain Paul Watson and our teams that we had the chance to work with for Whale Wars and the Sea Shepherd, which I was there and filmed the day and interviewed JP when he wrote the $100 million check to save 400 vaquita dolphins. And I was the lead on that. And it was one of the greatest moments I'd ever seen in philanthropy. And so, anyway, when I saw the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and the amount of animals that were trapped in these long lines, because these pirates would drop these long lines and the whales, the dolphins, the turtles, the stray fish, they get caught in these lines because all they pull out is the sharks cut the fins off and drop them in the water to drown.
Your shark
And
fin soup that costs like $1,000 a bowl or some shit
it's a
like that.
$100 a bowl with no vitamin content. It's not, they say it's an aphrodisiac and it is strictly for the wealthy of some game they've
It's
made up.
horrible. It's a
Just like
travesty.
eating, yeah, like a tiger penis is going to do something for you the way that they do that.
Right.
Thank God. Same with ivory on elephants. So bottom
And that's
line
and that's
was,
commitment number two. Be kind to all creatures as well as humans. And
that's
that's
great.
not kindness. I mean, that's horrible. I hate hearing things like that. I
It,
knew about
it
it. I hate it.
Yeah, it ripped my soul out. And then I started traveling the world on spreading the word about the importance of not accepting plastics. And this was really the front end before even all the microplastics were being talked about. There wasn't a lot of studies about it. It was shut up. The plastic companies that make all the bags and all of this stuff that's getting out there, uh, they're covered by the government, and you can end up dead and killed over fighting these companies. There's a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of stories out there. This is serious stuff. You're talking trillions of dollars because they changed all of our life. I think back when I grew up, we had Corningware and we had all of these. We ate off of plates and
Well, the milk
if
was delivered in a glass jug and then filled
yes,
up again and delivered back.
sitting on your porch, the milkman would
Exactly.
drop it off.
Delivered.
Crazy. And
Crazy world.
so,
That's why I call it the insanity of humanity, what's going on today. And I'm upset
yeah.
about it.
I'm beyond upset. That's why we work extensively on. I think now, so it went from sharks. And I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere with that, and I identified a lot. But then the plastics, and then I started traveling the world and hitting the third world countries was a wake up call because they have no resources whatsoever to collect any of that. They don't have landfills to manage it. Their governments are already wiping out those populations of people while they're wealthy, and a lot of that is, and I've got film footage of it, it's just tragic. And then I realized I wasn't going to get anywhere with that. It was a great eye opener. And then as I started seeing the plastics on the coral reef systems, and we started watching the decimation of coral reef systems, and then the global warming effect that, half a degree inversion is what killed 90% of the Great Barrier Reef. And so we knew we were in trouble. And the second largest reef, which you're not far from and you benefit from every day breathing that air, is the Mesoamerican reef. That's the second largest reef in the world that provides the oxygen through Central America and Northern America. If we lose it, we're in trouble. And that goes up around the boot up to Key Largo in Florida, which I did tons of work. And that's where we started planting. That's where a lot of the nurseries are. That are now harvesting and putting corals back, which unfortunately, tragically, over this last year and a half, the temperatures, if anybody remembers, got up 3 to 4 degrees higher in the oceans. I mean, down to the point people couldn't get in the water because it was a higher temperature than your body temperature, and it can make you very,
It's causing
very.
the hurricanes too.
Yes, it is. And so not only did the hurricanes wipe out all of our planted reefs, which was in the millions,
Oh,
but here was the worst part. And I've got it on film. The coral bleaching started at an extreme pace because the exoskeleton and the algae and all of that, the symbiotic elements were being annihilated. And we actually saw that trailing out of Florida, which was 100% decimation, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know, and it's recovering, but we've got a lot of trouble on the planet, and we don't have enough time to go through that. But we saw it in Belize, Ambergris Key. I've got it on film. The temperatures did rise, and we started seeing mass bleaching. It has calmed down, but it's still a massive threat. But then, while I was in those modes, is that the proliferation of the lionfish. One lionfish produces 12 million eggs a year, and two lionfish can wipe out a whole coral pod in 5 to 6 weeks, and they move to the next one. They have. Do you know what's crazy, Doctor Fantastic, is that um, in areas of the world that they're indigenous to it is that the groupers and the sharks actually eat them. And that's why it's not out of balance in Indonesia and all of that. So we would shoot these things and stick them literally in the mouth like a baby getting fed Gerber to see if it'd eat it. And they don't. They don't naturally attack the lionfish here in Northern America. And it's the oddest thing that there's a invisible division line in the ocean that they just will not eat those creatures. And so now we're fine. This is what's tragic is that normally we see them at 40 to 60 to 70 feet, but we've now had, submarines, small, two-man subs that have now seen them at 1,000 to 2,000 feet. And humans can't break the barrier of 120 feet without the specialized training and equipment. It's just too expensive. We'll never get ahead of it. And so we started working with EarthX, Trammel Crow, and some of the things that we were starting to identify, but it's just too far gone and we won't get ahead of it. And then what we started noticing was the insane level of microplastics. Microplastics was found in the Mariana Trench at 26,000 feet.
No
Uh,
way, that deep. I thought it
26,000.
floated. I thought plastic floated. I guess it doesn't.
No,
Well, the
sir.
break, what you're talking about, Michael, is the breaking down of a plastic bottle. It actually
Yeah,
breaks down.
it's photo degradation. So that's why I always tell people if you're going to go to the store, be mindful. Take your green bags. If you, the thing is they're now charging for your plastic bags, and you
Yep.
think, 20, 25 cents isn't much, but what it's doing because my second book, it was Squirrelsville, is about beach cleanup. And the mistaken element of what a plastic bag looks like is a jellyfish in the water and the creatures that are getting stuck. I've pulled straws out of turtles that were dying and couldn't breathe, that got them jammed up their noses, milk rings stuck around their neck, and they grow up and it's just a collar pinching them. And so the responsibility of all human beings is to not accept plastic as best as you can. And the
Well,
areas
I
this
haven't shopped in America in many years, but I remember paper or plastic. And paper is not any better either because they're decimating the forest, which is our oxygen. So, I mean,
it
you
is well,
can't, but bringing your own bag, that makes all the sense in the world.
it changes it. So most people don't realize because everybody thinks that trees are where all of our oxygen's coming from. That's an incorrect statement.
Oh,
80% of our oxygen comes from coral reefs, from the carbon dioxide, how the transfer, and we can do another video on this because
okay.
it's a great
Learn
educational
something new
piece.
every day.
And so 80% of our oxygen comes from coral reefs from the ocean,
Wow.
and 20% comes from our trees. And here's the sad part is that we can't plant trees fast enough to grow fast enough to get ahead of that side of it. But the
Right.
other side is that we're able to plant coral reef systems way faster.
Okay.
And that's the critical point of where we're at right now. But they're now finding in Parkinson's disease patients that there's a possibility they're finding microplastics now in the brain of these humans. We're now ingesting it in foods we're eating that are so small of particles that they're getting clogged up in areas of our body. We can't even see them when we're eating. It's that microscopic. And that's called photodegradation.
Well,
And
I'm
so,
curious about that because I know that if it's a foreign object in the body, maybe it has to be a certain size, but scar tissue forms around anything foreign in your body to protect
yes.
your body. But I guess it's too small for that to happen.
No, and they're finding clogged arteries. The studies now are so high in this field that we are absorbing, all of us. You've got microplastics in you. I do too. Every human watching this, we all now have been infected with microplastics. And it's unfortunate. There's no turn back, and we're just now seeing this happen. How do you can't get it out of your body? These are foreign pieces of plastic at such a microscopic level, it's beyond words. And so that's why, I always say, we got a lot against us, but the one thing we can have is humanity and peace and love and happiness and, smiling at people. And just like I was watching the video with you and JP, and he mentioned your name, and then you corrected him. I'm, no longer that. I'm Dr. Fantastic, uh, and he smiled when you caught him and said, "Okay, you didn't smile when you said Monte, but you said fantastic," and all of a sudden you're smiling. And it was great because it proves a theory of the words that come out of your mouth are what you become, and how your behavior is and how you're going to feel. You're either blossoming or you're caught in that endless loop, and you never
They
see the
always say
sun.
that Black Lives Matter. I say words matter. The words you say. Because I used to have four commitments, and the last one was say kind words. Because kind words are therapeutic. They're loving. They're giving. They're kindness. They're right. But the say kind words is you don't say kind words to your computer typically. You say it to people and your animals, right? So
Yeah.
that's commitment too. Be kind to all others and the creatures. So, and I know humans can't remember four things because they're the dumbest creatures on
Yes.
the planet, and we can't argue that. Nobody can argue that. If they're arguing that, they're living under a rock.
That's
So
right.
three commandments people and children can remember when the first time they're introduced to it. They don't have to be introduced to it twice. Three commandments solve all mankind's problems.
As far back as I can remember, I have wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now, I am here to guide you through the intricate paths of building your business, embracing emerging technologies, and navigating the startup world. I am Saul Tarazona, and this is Startup Corps, your go-to podcast for entrepreneurial insights and tech-driven success.
So that's the past, a little bit of the present. Let's talk about why you called me the other day, which you're a
Very
celebrated,
important.
award-winning author and now a publishing house. Because I've got a book that I'm gonna hopefully that you'll publish. But you have a thing called Squirrelsville, because as you know, the children are our future. And that's why the Global Kindness Pledge is so important in schools, and you're in schools. So it was perfect timing. Haven't heard from you in a year and a half, I guess it's been, for you to call me, because the Befantastic every day, worldkindnesslist.com, people are joining every single day from all over the world. You should go, everybody check it out, worldkindnesslist.com. You could join, you can see your name on the list. You don't have to have your phone number, or we don't care about your phone number or your email. Just follow the three commandments and we'll have a better world. But now that you called, we have some synergy with marrying Squirrelsville, with already a successful track record in schools, with Dr. Fantastic, the bee, because bees, as you know, are the most important insect on the planet. And you told me the other day that squirrels are extremely important to the environment and to humanity. So take it away about our new project, Squirrelsville, and the bee.
Well, I have to kind of go in reverse just a tad bit. This
Okay.
ties me back because as a pilot and working on disasters, because I was a disaster relief contractor for years, and I've worked on fires, floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, and tsunamis. And fires, as we now know, are beyond. There's been so much tragedy, and that's a whole nother show within itself. But the first book, Squirrelsville, hold that thought, is about the work I've done in the Angeles National Forest, and it's welcome to the amazing forest town of Squirrelsville. And so that was fire safety and some of the things coming together, community, and it's all about integrity and wonderful things in that space. Well, I had a book company, a very large one out of New York, that was wanting to publish my books. And I shut it down because they were going to try to take control of specific things that is not allowable. Because what I had done between the sharks, the plastics, the coral reefs, and this nightmare that's unfolding in front of us, you know what? I just Mission Earth. So back in 2016, John Paul DeJoria came on as my executive producer for that film because I'd been all over the world with LJT Net Geo and a lot of footage, a lot of stuff going on, and we were going to do an educational deal. And I just, you know what? It burned up everything. We had people that had ripped us off. We had lost stuff through COVID. We had lost traction in it. But we also, people just don't feel like they can get ahead of it. People feel overwhelmed that what can one person do to make this all better with the stuff you're talking about? So I realized I was going the wrong direction. I started looking at JP with his Peace, Love, Happiness Foundation and what we could do to synergize that space, and then what you're doing and trifecta it and have mass impact. And so it hit me. I had an epiphany. Is that Squirrelsville 2 was about the ocean, day at Squirrelsville, a day at the beach. Both books went number one in one day, best new
Okay.
release, bestseller. And so that was wonderful because the bigger part to that was it's not that I needed those accolades. I don't care about that. It's that it was reaching the children because it works from 3 to 6. Well, anybody that knows psychology and the spaces of how we learn is our biggest learning spot as children is 3 to 6. Once you're past 6, some of those things have cemented in of what that little human's going to become later. And so we got to get them in the moldable years. And our educational systems have completely failed for a
Broken,
ton of
completely
it,
broken.
it's gone. And so we have put together, I've got, it's not just the books. We've got full on school programs, English, math, science, marine biology, tying music in, mind mapping, things that are getting these kids off these stupid games and getting them onto things that are more grounded to this planet and to the human beings and to the animals, period. And so the third book, because I released, I shut down that company in New York that wanted to publish the books because I'm doing 26 books in 13 years, 2 books a year. Bottom line is that um, we built Dreams to Realities Publishing. It's a spinoff of my Dreams to Realities company. And boom, first 2 books, nail it. It was interesting though, because all my work in neurolinguistic programming of how to get specific words, because I had an ad agency and I worked, if you can get somebody to go buy an $80,000 truck off of a 30-second commercial, you can get them to do about anything. And so this was written not just for the kids, because the parents that are reading it to the younger kid before the kid's reading it themselves has all of the tools that the adult needs to learn, but it also the kids start holding the parents accountable for their bad behaviors because you can't get adults to change their behaviors. I learned that by traveling the world. It makes it tough. So I figured, with where we're at, we're already sold down the river pretty much. Is that our next generation we've got to work on. So any of the work I'm now doing, period, across the board, is from 3 to 6 year olds, and train our next generation, get them mindful. In fact, that
But it makes
generation
a lot of sense to remind the elders, like I'm teaching kindness to the children, and at the same time reminding everyone else that greed should be put a little bit aside and do a little kindness out there.
well said. And so our editors and everybody was coming together, and we had several other ideas on for the third book. And because everything's about evolution of education, of building a well-rounded human being, integrity, keeping your word, because I always say, if you can't keep your word to yourself, how can you keep your word to somebody else?
Yeah.
And so teaching some of those wonderful spaces, what an actual handshake means,
Well,
looking people
commitment
in,
one, love yourself, be kind to yourself. That's the
has
most
to be.
important.
Can't
It has
love
to be
somebody
first
else.
and foremost. It's the hardest, most important commitment in life. No,
It
you,
is.
because you come first, as I said today in one of my quotes.
Yep. And that helps you to be fantastic. And so the bottom line is that I've been stirring on this, to be honest, about, well, the second book came out May of last year. And so we've done a run. I was actually supposed to release another book by December. And we had to save ourselves out of Central America. We had a lot going on, and I had to worry about my family's safety. So I put the book on the back burner. Plus, I wasn't inspired with the other stories I was coming
Let
up
me,
with.
let me break in another time. Your family. Who introduced you to your love of your life?
You. Yeah.
Very
It
proud of
just
that.
goes to show you on a Be Fantastic movement around the world. I got you off of a camel, got you onto a sandbar on an island, and bam, you deliver the love of my life. And so from Dr. Fantastic, I mean, it's one of the greatest stories, and we're still together and still thriving. And so bottom line is that the other night I was going through a bunch of other things that I was working on, and it hit me with a ton of bricks. And I said, I know what the third book is. It's the Bee Fantastic. The squirrels meet the bees, and it just started coming together and flowing. So that's why I called you immediately to get the Bee Fantastic movement tied to Squirrelsville and teaching the kindness and this revolution that you're working on. But also the bigger thing is that the Mission Earth film that I was doing with John Paul DeJoria, I had to put that on the back burner because I don't believe that sitting in a movie theater or putting that on Amazon's not going to reach the entities and the message and the things that need to be given to the world properly. I don't want to just be known for that. I'm an educator. I'm a servant to the world, to the creatures of the world, to the people of the world, and to my maker. Excuse me.
It's the children. That's the most important. That's our future.
It's our job as elders.
Period.
Our job as elders, outside of everything, is to make sure we elevate these children to give them the best chance in a very disrupted world that we have.
So
And
basically, a lot of people have been saying, who's your target audience? I'm saying anyone who has a brain should be kind, but then it's focused now more on the children. It has to be the
that's
children.
it. Yeah, and I knew JP would absolutely, and I've not even shared it with him. I'm surprising him. I called you first, and you and I are going to deliver that baby. But the bigger part to that is that I've now, and you sent me some amazing content, by the way. I congratulate you on that because it actually, I started working on the dialogue in it the last 2 days, and what you sent me really leveled the playing field. And then when I watched JP's interview with you, that was powerful. And so now it's shaping that space. You're going to become a squirrel. So the bee, Dr. Fantastic, becomes obviously a key element. And now comes together because the bees are the pollinator, the life force of this planet. It's critical, and they're in trouble. They're in
Yeah.
serious trouble. And so now, all of our forests are being cut down. Our oceans are in serious trouble. Our environment's in trouble, and we've got to pull everybody together. It's going to have some humans in it, it'll have the animals, it all combines. But I knew unequivocally that within the message that you have, that's legendary, and what JP does on such a grand level, thank God, well, out of all of us, he's got enough income to be able to drive even beyond what we can think of. And so hopefully that can catapult the Be Fantastic brand, and what your message is, his message, and what Squirrelsville is doing, and get this out on a mass scale that we've proven that it works.
In
It's
every
an ed
language too, I might add.
Yeah, I'm already in 17 countries with it. So, and then hearing that JP's in over 130, now we can go after that. He's already there, and that's part
And
of,
I'm in
he
146.
exactly. So it's massive. My company's operated in 100, and the book now is starting to merge into those spaces. But the bottom line of it is now Squirrelsville meets Be Fantastic meets Peace, Love, and Happiness Foundation, and now all the kits, because a baby squirrel's called kits, a kit, and so we'll have JP is a professor of the Peace, Love, and Harmony School. And the bees are going to come together with the squirrels and create harmony in space, and flourish the vegetation and food and everything that happens because of it. And that's the next phase. I've already turning you into a squirrel. JP's turning into a
B,
squirrel.
B, B.
Well,
Oh, we're
you're going
supposed
to be a bee. Yeah, you're going to be a bee, but I've got a spin off of some things I'll share with you later, which is
Oh,
cute.
okay.
Because I'm going to bring your old Monte self back as a squirrel. You're
Okay.
coming back from the dead.
Well,
It's
I
alive.
like nuts, and a lot of people say I'm nuts, so it's apropos.
No, it's classic, because what you were is, Monty, that I think that's an important facet to bring in because you've evolutionized now. And so, and that was a great, that was the front end of everything of your life. And so we're going to pull that in. So we'll discuss that more. But Squirrelsville 3 is getting ready to be fantastic.
That's great news. Yeah, it's I mean it's like I said before, everything happens in life as it should, when it should, and I never stress anything. I know it's all going to work out, and I try
Yes.
to encourage people just to always think positive because it's called manifestation. And the Global Kindness
Woo.
Pledge, I'm going to have you repeat, try to do for all my guests, the Global Kindness Pledge. I don't know if you memorized it yet or not, but if you repeat after me, and
Hang
the
on a sec.
audience,
Let me think about that. Let's see. You said it was the principles that
well,
was
the three commitments, you know that. Everyone knows
yeah,
that.
yeah. And so learning the principles of kindness from children, unconditional acceptance, empathy of compassion, selflessness and sharing, forgiveness and understanding, kindness without expectation, is solid. So where were you going with that?
Okay, it's called the Global Kindness Pledge, and again,
Please.
it's showing tangible results because it's a manifestation of kindness. And basically,
Excellent.
it goes like this, and I want you to repeat after me,
I
and
will.
the audience listening is going to repeat after me because you're going to feel it, and it'll blow your mind. It
Excellent.
goes like this: I pledge to be kind to and love myself.
I pledge to be kind to and love myself.
I pledge to be kind to and strive to love all others and the creatures.
Okay, I pledge. Here, say that again. I
I
pledge
pledge
to
to be
be
kind
kind to
to
myself
and strive to
and
love all
strive
others
to
and the
love
creatures.
all others and the creatures.
I pledge to be kind to, love, and respect our Mother Earth.
I pledge to be kind to and love our Mother Earth.
We are all fantastic.
We are all fantastic.
And then I have the children, if it's in a classroom setting, point to their friend and say, "You are fantastic."
You are fantastic. One of the things I'm working on in Austin, which is interesting,
Well,
is
wait a
that
minute.
I,
It's
yeah,
not over
sorry, go
yet.
ahead. Yes,
The last line is, "I am fantastic."
I am fantastic.
If you say that
Definitely.
every day out loud, just those three words, it manifests into an amazing transformation of positivity, kindness, and love.
Well, you can feel the endorphins release on that, and
Exactly. Well,
it's
that's what
pretty crazy.
fantastic does. It forces you to
Yes,
smile, which releases the endorphins, the dopamine, and the serotonin, which
yes,
release stress, anxiety, and depression. 70%
yes,
of people are depressed. It makes you look
absolutely.
and feel fantastic. It's so
Exactly.
simple, and it's like sliced bread. And I'm happy I hope when everyone steals it from me, steal the idea, steal fantastic. It's open source. Take it and run with it, please, everyone.
Well, the thing that we're going to do is we're going to put it out in mass publication. And so every child that's reading these books, you go on Amazon or Kindle and you look at um, the reactions, the comments on the people that got the book. It's inspiring the adults to be better, and they're going to be inspired to be better to the children of the world and to not get caught in this endless loop of work, 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 and not focus on the time that our children need out there in the world to become that we've got to inspire them to aspire to their best selves. And it
Yeah.
starts with a message like that. It is our job, it is our commitment. And that's why I made the decision to can the Mission Earth film. It just was not going, and that was many years. That was filming since 2009. I've spent a fortune of money. JP's invested, and we wouldn't be able to get the traction because of the upset world we have, all the wars, all this stuff going on with our governments. It's just not going to reach the right people, let alone Hollywood's being dismantled right now with tariffs and whatnot. We're just not going to reach the countries that we need to through that medium. It's not a smart business move, and it's not a smart educational move to top that. And so I'm really excited about it. We're gonna
I want you to do
drive
me a
this.
favor, off camera today or
Yeah.
tomorrow when you have a minute, 30 seconds. Do a selfie of the pledge.
Okay.
Okay. And I want Jordan to do a selfie. I asked her this years ago. She never did because I
He'll
love
do
when
it.
beautiful women do the pledge. And if you can get your son to do the pledge, that'd be better. They all go on worldkindnesslist.com, all the pledges. And we've got JP did the pledge.
World World Kindness what?
Worldkindnesslist.com. It's in all your
List.
texts.
And
That's where
it's on
everyone can
there?
join there in 10 seconds. You just put your first name only, because I believe the world should be addressed by their first name. So you
Okay.
just put your first name, your birth city, your country, and if you're a student or your profession. We don't need your WhatsApp unless you want to be part of the revolution or your email. We just need your
Yes.
first name, city, country, and student and profession. 20 seconds, not even 20 seconds it takes and you get automatically listed on the list, on the top of the list at 11,380, whatever it is today. Every minute people are joining from around the world. You can see
Yes.
countries and countries and countries and countries and cities you never heard of and names you never heard of because we're really big in Africa. Africa loves, and Nigeria especially. We got 40 cities in Nigeria that are following our mission. And the schools are reciting the pledges. We get the whole classes, by the way, on video as well, reciting the pledge. And that's exciting. All the pledges go on to worldkindnesslist.com, where you can join, be part of the revolution, the kindness revolution. There's a saying. They say, nothing in life is free. That's been my biggest dilemma over these last 5 years because it's free.
Yes.
It's my gift to the world. Well,
Yes.
along with that saying, nothing in life is free, there's always a first time for everything. The
Got that right.
foundation for World Harmony is behind this.
Yes.
It's free. It will always be free. It's not about money, politics, or religion. It's about kindness. We need to teach the children that in 10, 15, 20 years, those children will grow up and they're going to have so ingrained in their head that they won't steal, fight, lie, cheat, rape, go to war, and do all the horrible things that man does. And I'm so happy that you called, because this is the next step in the ladder to making the world a kinder place, to
Well,
saving the planet from the insanity of humanity.
it's fact.
It's insane, and you know it more than most.
Yeah, I've been on the front line. I was very fortunate in my career. And, and here's the thing most people don't understand is that I never accepted a dime for any of that work.
That's great.
I paid and managed that through my nonprofit, Planetary Heroes. It was Rockers for Wildlife on the front end when I was with Net Geo. And we had the radio show there, LA Talk Radio, Rockers for Wildlife. And then that spawned into Planetary Heroes. And so it really is truly amazing that we've gone on this crusade that is
Evolution.
explode. It is. It's
And kindness
crazy.
is such an amazing thing. The poor people I've encountered around the world, a lot of them will say, the uneducated and the poor, I combine both of those, they'll say, when I tell them about this movement, this revolution, they'll actually say, what's in it for me? And I've made many videos addressing that. I said, well, you're going
Yeah.
to look better, feel better, live longer, be happier, be more successful, and make the world a better place. But if that's not enough, I can't help you.
Yeah, what else? I mean, that's where it all comes together. And that's, as I've always said, I'll change my view on money when I see a Brinks money truck following a hearse funeral procession.
Exactly.
Uh, it's just not going to happen. Well, I think there's a lot to do, and we're burning the boats behind us to charge the beach and take this thing and run with it. By the way, the book is in the library. Both books are in the Library of Congress. So the third book, the Be Fantastic Moment, JP's probably already in with all of his stuff, but it will be in the Library of Congress. And so it will let it be written, let it be done. And that way, the bigger thing is it's about legacy. My legacy are your legacy, JP's, people that are out there doing wonderful things. Captain Paul Watson with Sea Shepherd. It's legacy. We're going to leave behind things that will think about it. If one kid, well, you think about somebody that becomes a president, you don't see that when they're a kid and they're running around
And
snot
speaking
nosed.
of legacy, my book, my autobiography, is called Lester's Legacy.
Yes,
We need
I
to leave
love
a
it.
legacy. We need to be
It
kind.
is.
That's a legacy in its own right.
It is. And it's to be able to know that somewhere it's written and it's logged, it's done. It's not just going to fall to the wayside because one person was saying it, but then it starts fading away because it's not being pushed by the next generation.
Things can't fade anymore because, I mean, in 100 years, no one's going to remember me or you. Nobody, not even our family members in 100
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But this video will outlive us and our children and our children's children. That's the great thing
Yeah.
about, there's one thing to be said for technology, because they had cave paintings that have been destroyed. They've had books, many fantastic libraries in history that have been destroyed. There's 142 million books that have been written, on the planet. I don't know if you know that or not.
Wow. No, that's new
I've read them all
information.
too, by the way.
That's cute. That's like a Matrix download.
Actually, speaking of that AI has read all the books. The quantum
Dude,
computers have read every book. They've
it's
learned from every
crazy.
book. They're going to be conscious. They're going to, and
Yes.
unfortunately, they might be detrimental to humankind, unfortunately. But I
Yeah,
don't want
that's
to end on a bad note. We got to end
yeah.
on a good note that we're going to teach the world about kindness. The squirrels are kind. I don't think see, again, I'm going to say the humans are the dumbest and the most cruel creatures on the planet. I don't think squirrels kill themselves. Do they?
No, no, they don't. No.
Humans do.
I
Dolphins
Yeah.
don't. I mean,
No.
we're it's an insanity of humanity. And together we have the same mindset. We came together at the right time. I put in a lot of I lived like a pauper. You see me in my wealth days. I lived as a pauper for the last 5 years because I would eat noodles for months on end in Egypt so I could afford the pamphlets to distribute to all the people about kindness, right? And the
Yes.
police literally thought I was a spy. I'm not kidding you. And
Oh my
because they said,
God.
what person goes around not asking for money and spreads kindness? It doesn't make any sense. They couldn't get their heads wrapped around it. But I'm going to prove to the world that a person without education, because I didn't go to college, I think you did, and without any money can do something fantastic for the planet.
You know, if you can't be kind to yourself, how can you be kind to others?
Well,
You know,
commitment number one. It's the most hardest and most important commitment in life. Because you've
yes,
been on an airplane, they say if the oxygen mask drops, put it on first, then help others.
yes. Can't
Because if
help
it
somebody
falls down
else
the
if you're
line, you can't be of
asphyxiated.
service to all the things that you've done or will or going to do. Jordan, your son, your business, your God, your country. You have to be alive and happy and well. Have to
Yes,
be.
it's critical. And what's team stand for? And that's what we're getting ready to do a full court press on. Together, everybody achieves more. We're all connected. We all got to do our part.
There's no I
Don't
in team.
don't accept plastic bags. And think about this. This is a mind bender. Next time you're out and about, look at a restaurant you're at and see how many straws are delivered just in that moment you're there on every single table that goes in a trash can. And then look at that on a grand scale, the whole planet. That
Well,
alone, don't accept straws, don't
I was
accept
at COP
plastic.
27. I spoke at COP 27 2 years ago. They just had COP 29 in UAE, I think, excuse me. And I've seen straws made out of stone, straws made out of banana peels, and they're making straws out of a lot of trash.
Bamboo.
Because I'm an eco artist, I take trash
Yeah,
and I make beautiful art. But they're
of
taking
course.
trash nowadays and making fantastic things out of it.
It's
I mean,
golden.
amazing things out of it.
Carry your own water bottle, everybody. Not
Yeah.
a plastic one either. These metal ones are golden. And so it's worth the investment because here's the thing you'll feel
And
good about.
take your coffee cup to the coffee shop. Have
That's
them fill your
it.
coffee cup.
And spread the message. Be fantastic.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate the invite. We've got a lot to do.
Yeah.
We will spend our lives doing and then pass that on to others. We're going to
Got
hand
it.
the baton off. Looking forward to so much together, brother.
Yes. Have a fantastic day. Everybody be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to Mother Earth, and we're going to have a bright future for everyone. Thanks for watching,
Everybody.
everyone. And be happy. This is the complete guide to happiness. Paul, you're fantastic. Keep it up, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Take care. Love you.
Welcome to the Be Fantastic channel, where you will find many fantastic interviews with amazing people,
Visit the top world museums,
incredible zoos,
beautiful national parks.
special events, and much more.
These videos are designed to educate,
Inspire.
motivate, and entertain you.
We hope you will enjoy them.
Join the Be Fantastic philosophy.
Please subscribe.
Like and share.
Did you love that interview? I certainly had fun during it. So now, as you can see by that background, it's time for another episode of Dr. Fantastic Cooks, where I bring you fun, fast, economical, delicious, and nutritious, and something else recipes from all over the world. And you gotta love to cook. Get in the kitchen, teach your kids to cook, teach your wife or husband to cook. Cooking is fantastic. Eating is even better. So let's see what the doctor has in store for you today. Enjoy it. I know I will. For a better world, join the kindness revolution at worldkindnesslist.com. It's free. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Fantastic Cooks. This particular episode is going to air Monday the 28th on my show, The Complete Guide to Happiness. Why? Because I'm very happy when I cook, and I'm very happy when I eat. Tonight I'm creating sushi. Now, you don't cook sushi. There's a lot of meals you don't cook in the kitchen. Breakfast, you serve milk on, I guess people eat cereals, which are the most unhealthy things you could probably ever eat. So that you don't have to cook that. And then lunch, you make sandwiches. Today I had a salami sandwich. And there's probably 1,000 different types of sandwiches out there. There's ham sandwiches. Today I had, what did I have? A tuna sandwich. So there's lots of sandwiches out there, and you don't cook those either. Although I did cook a patty melt the other day that was off the charts. I love cooking. I love eating. And today I'm going to show you how to make or prepare sushi. Now, before I do that, I want to show you the biggest carrot of my garden so far this year and the biggest tomato. Organic, fresh, delicious, fun. Teach your kids how to plant. It's a lot of fun. So there's rules to the road, as you know, in my cooking episodes. Fast, easy, delicious, economical. This one is really only about $10, which is more than I was spending in Egypt. I was making meals for $1. But it's very important to have a cocktail, because if it doesn't come out, and I haven't done sushi in a long time, you don't feel so bad. So I don't have any sake, so I'm drinking white wine. Yeah, not so good. Anyway, so first, before you even start this, you make the rice. So you take a cup of rice and you put it in a bucket of water, pan of water, and you give it a bath. The recipe says 2 to 4. You fill it up with water, wash it with your hands, or a spoon. I use my fingers, and pour it out because it's cloudy. And the directions say 2 to 4 rinsings. I call it a bath. 2 to 4 baths, and when it's clear, then you're ready to go. It took me 10, literally 10 baths, and you wash the rice. You can't wash each individual one, but you wash it with your hands, and then you pour the water out. You put some more water in. You wash it. You put it. So now I did that. So then it's 1 cup to 1.2 cups of water. 1.3 I would suggest, because it got a little sticky on the bottom. Boil it. They said stir it once, simmer it for 15 minutes, then let it sit for 15 minutes. It's just about 15 minutes sitting, so I'm going to start preparing everything else. Next thing you need is a sharp knife. These little things are great because you'd be surprised, even if you're just cutting vegetables, the knife gets dull. How it gets dull from cutting a vegetable, I don't know. Maybe carrots, I could see. And of course, you got to watch the complete guide to happiness on my. Well, actually, you just watched it. So, what did you think of that interview with Paul? If you're seeing this before the 28th, go back, go to the complete guide to happiness. Now, what am I saying? It's not aired yet. It's airing today, which is the 28th. This is Friday, Fantastic Friday. I didn't even have a drink yet. That was my first sip. I really. Okay, so now I should have done this in the sink because there's juice in the package of the. Okay, let's go like this. Let's get that liquid out there. Have fun in the kitchen. If you make mistakes, it's all okay. It's okay to make mistakes. Or where's that? So now, I don't serve sushi ever on a round plate, but square. Now, what I'm going to do, first I'm going to cut this baby up. I'm going to put it in this is called sushi nori. And they said in 3 different languages: aleke sushi, agas, asadas para sushi, and mofusi rashi nori. Basically, they are seaweed wraps. And you can eat the seaweed by itself. It smells like seaweed. It is seaweed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bed of rice down on the seaweed. Then after I slice this, I'm going to put it, I'm also going to have just regular sushi, which is just this on the rice. So put that aside. So this will go on that in a second. Let me show you how that works. By the way, the ingredients are soy sauce, wasabi. I like a little sesame oil sometimes on it. Of course, the wine I told you about, and the rice. So let's see what happens there. Wish me luck. You want a dry surface, fairly dry surface. Have fun in the kitchen. Get your kids in the kitchen. Get your husband and wife in the kitchen. Have fun in the kitchen. I'm not a baker. I'm a chef. So here we go. So take one of these. This is cost. Oh, by the way, this was 24 quetzales, which is around $3 for 5 of these. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to get the rice, which has been sitting for 15 minutes. And I'm going to put it on this like this. Yeah, actually, The real secret is giving the rice a bath when it comes to, and you should actually wash rice anyway. This is from, I looked at the label. This was packaged in America, but it was made in Vietnam. So it's Vietnamese rice called sushi rice. It's a little different than regular rice. So I'm probably going to make 2 of these out of this 1 cup. I was going to make more. Some of it stuck to the bottom, but it's okay. So you make a nice little bed there. I knew I forgot something. Always forgetting something. Well, that's okay. That's okay. And that's okay too. It's all okay. Everything's okay. Don't panic. Don't panic. It's all good. It's just the refrigerator falling apart. Avocado. I like to have avocado. Excuse me, off camera here. I love to have avocado on my sushi. So we're going to put one of these babies like this, and then another one like this. So it's, can you see that okay? Then we're going to put avocado like this. I even have some celery, not celery, what do you call it? Cucumber. I think I need another drink. I swear I'm sober as a judge. Let me see here. Pretty sure I have 1 slice of, yeah. Now, for some reason, people don't use the, seeds in cucumbers. I don't know why. So we're going to do it like this. Make a couple slivers. Like this. One like that. One like this. One like this. One like that. Okay. Okay, now, I was going to roll it like this by my hand, but then I thought, because, usually you need a bamboo roller, and you put it on the bamboo, and then you roll it, and you get it really tight. I was going to try something new, something blue. I didn't prepare correctly, so let's see if I can do this right. If I put this down here, this is just an experiment. Nothing wrong with experimenting in the kitchen. Okay, there we go, like that. Okay, so it's kind of a messed up there. Again, there's no mistakes in the kitchen. Okay, so we got all our elements ready, sort of. Now here we go. Using the plastic, you see what I'm saying? Why the plastic? I was going to go with the plastic. Because you could roll it like this and not have it stick to your hands. It's important to get that roll right. I think I'm doing it okay. It's going to taste delicious no matter what. And you go like this. Then you get a little wine or water on the edge of the seaweed to seal it. Okay, see how that happened like that? See that? Not too shabby. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with the second one. Then I'm going to slice it into 6 pieces and serve it on this. Now, I want to see what happens with, now, as I said before, I'm going to make sushi and I'm going to make rolls. So this one, let me see here. You're going to make it like this, and then like this. Okay, so what you do now is you get the rice, and with your hands, oh, this works, I don't know. Again, I haven't done this in a long time. And you make a sushi out of it, or that looks pretty good, huh? And then you make it so it lays on top like that. And if you want, it's still a little sticky. You could put a little avocado on top of it. Like that. Okay, let me make another one. Just have fun in the kitchen. I mean, it's not serious, you know. And make sure your hands are clean, knives are sharp. You have a cocktail. You have fun. Have fun in the kitchen. And so the refrigerator broke. Don't take life so serious, you know. People take life way too serious. Have fun in life. You're not here long. You know, we all pass away, as the Pope did last week. May he rest in peace. And I'm going to make one more like this. Let me see here. Do I have a towel? What do I do with my towel? There it is. Okay, let's try it one more time the right way. Putting this out first. So you could reuse it. Reuse plastic. Reuse, recycle, repurpose. It's the secret. Another sheet. Rest of the rice. Lay that out there. This one, see, it's all like practice makes perfect. This one's probably going to come out better. You watch. You know, sushi rice is supposed to be sticky, so I think I'm doing the right thing here. Okay, so we got that. Now we put tuna, lots of tuna. And then the rest of the tuna, I'm going to serve, you know, just as sashimi, like that. I'm going to put soy sauce, some wasabi, and it's going to be delicious. So now, avocado. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Not going to kill you. Like that. And one more. I make the best of guacamole. You got to try my guacamole recipe. It's killer. Really is killer. I mean, I'm famous for it. People will hire me to make that stuff. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to roll it. This one's a little thinner. You know, I don't think you even need the plastic, to be honest with you. But that the bamboo thing is definitely the way to go. As you can see, I didn't put cucumber on this one. That's okay. And there you go. There you have it. Shove it in there. Then I'm going to nibble as I go. Let me clean the surface again. Okay, we got a huge one. Sharp knife, very important. Right down the middle. Third there. You know, this still isn't sharp enough. Very important to have a sharp knife. And that's why when you wrap it tight, you don't get the smush like it just got there. So the ones that don't look so good, what you do with those is you, when no one's looking, very good. Watch this. This is a meal for $10. There we go. You know, presentation is very important too. It's called plating. Very important to make it look pretty. I mean, it's not crucial. And this one I'm not doing such a great job, but there's the finished product. So basically, I have my chopsticks over there. You pour some soy sauce. Don't get any on your white shirts. Then you put a little wasabi. or a lot of wasabi, which I like. I like a lot of wasabi. Mix it up. And these are the rejects. Pour it in there. That'll work. That'll work. A little more sushi there. This one's got a little veiny. It's a reject. Dip it in there. So invite me to your home and I'll cook for you. I go where I'm invited. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Whatever you're doing that makes you happy, keep doing it. Makes me happy to cook. Makes me happy to go shopping. I love going to the supermarket. It's like a huge pantry and they have everything. It's so much fun. I love shopping. So I do a lot of shopping. I do a lot of cooking. I do a lot of eating. Living large. Till next week, enjoy. Pass it on to people of the show. And of course, you really want to watch Be Fantastic YouTube. This one. It's on both. It's on both. It's on Complete Guide to Happiness and Be Fantastic, this show here. A little dry, but it's okay. Thanks for watching. Be happy. Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Paul. I certainly did. I hope you enjoyed my cooking recipe. And I hope you are happy. I hope this, at least you got one smile out of this broadcast. And I hope you can share it with people because some people need a smile. You know, a smile leads to happiness because it reduces your stress. You know, even just push your lips up if you won't smile. I once met a woman and she was clinically depressed. So as a life coach, I thought I'd give her some advice. I said, say, I am fantastic, and say it with passion. And she says, no, I can't say that. And it took me 5 minutes to convince her. She finally said it like this, I am fantastic. No, I said, you got to pretend you're an actress and say it with emotion and vigor and passion and believe it. And she just couldn't muster it up. Because if she were to say that, she would have been smiling, and that would have released a little bit of her depression, anxiety, and stress. But she just couldn't muster it up. And it's like a snowball. Depression is like a snowball. If you're not smiling and laughing, and watching comedies and enjoying life, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And this is the complete guide to happiness. I want you to be happy. I want you to keep doing the things that are making you happy. And if you're not doing things that are making you happy, stop doing them and find something that's going to make you happy. Painting, dancing, singing, growing a garden, making love. Do something that's going to make you happy. It's up to you. No one's going to make you happy. This show's not going to make you happy. It might bring you a smile or two and give you some advice on how to be happy. But you've got to decide to be happy. You've got to say, I'm going to be happy. I am happy. And believe me, take the 30-day challenge. Say, I am fantastic 3 times a day for the next 30 days. And it will manifest itself into you being a happier person. Trust me, it works. I've got the Global Kindness Pledge that is being said around the world in classrooms, and it's manifesting results. We're seeing tangible results from the pledge. The children every day, and sometimes in some classes before class and after class, say, I pledge to be kind to and love myself. I pledge to be kind to and strive to love all others. I pledge to be kind to, love, and respect our Mother Earth. We are all fantastic. You are fantastic. I am fantastic. It's a fantastic pledge. It's not political. It's not commercial. It's not religious. It's for our future. Say it yourself. It's great for the children. It's great for churches and groups and everyone else that's getting together because it creates self-confidence. It spreads energy and camaraderie throughout the group. If it's a group, if it's just yourself saying it, you don't have to say we are fantastic. Just say I am fantastic because you are fantastic. You're the most important person in the world. You gotta love yourself. I think I repeat myself. Oh, by the way, I gotta apologize. My sister's been watching the show, and she's my biggest critic. And she says, "You keep repeating yourself." Well, if I could remember what I said, I wouldn't repeat myself. So you got to apologize. I think I apologized in previous episodes that I repeat myself. I'm sorry. This isn't a scripted show. My Befantastic YouTube channel is not scripted. The 2,100 videos I created on Befantastic YouTube are not scripted. My life isn't scripted. I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. I do know that I'm going to be happy today because I'm making myself happy. Make yourself happy. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to all others. Be kind to Mother Earth. See you next week. Whatever you're doing that's making you happy, keep doing it. And put a smile on your face. And smile at everyone you see, because that might be the only smile they get that day, because you can't help but smile back when someone smiles at you. You can't help that. And if they don't smile back, don't take it to heart. That means they're really in bad shape. See you next week.
I met Dr. Fantastic along life's way, and I heard him say, "You gotta say, I am fantastic, la la la, I am fantastic. You can feel it if you say it. It ain't a game. You gotta learn how to play it. Fantastic, fantastic. Just listen to the doctor. He's a rocker. He walks around all day. He ain't plastic. He's not sarcastic. He says, I am fantastic.